Well, good morning to you, Naledi Desiree, as well as the viewers at home. I'm coming to you live from the Protea Hotel in Midrand, where the national leadership of Sanco has come out to gather and address a briefing on the developments we saw over the weekend. You may have seen there were some viral pictures and videos that were circulated over social media over the weekend, showing that former President Jacob Zuma had been elected as the provincial chairperson of Sanco. Of course, the national leadership came out to say that this particular structure was a parallel one, and that the representatives releasing this information into the public domain were bogus representatives of Sanco. I'm joined by the General Secretary, Mr. Mike Soko, who can possibly elaborate on some of the confusion regarding the developments over this weekend surrounding this community-based organization. So you've elaborated that you sat over the provincial conference last year of Sanco. You were aware of that leadership, and that what we're seeing take place over the past weekend is a bogus parallel structure. Can you elaborate further on that?
Yeah, the Constitutional Conference of Sanco in KZN took place on the 12th June 2021, and we were there, we presided over it. So what took place last Friday, really, we don't know what was happening there. Those ones, they are not even a parallel structure actually, they are just bogus individuals who have taken advantage of the vulnerability of the former President Jacob Zuma, and they are using him, in as far as we're concerned, to make themselves relevant, you know. So it is very unfortunate and sad that even the former President Jacob Zuma allowed himself to be used by these thugs.
How did the national leadership learn of these developments that took place over the weekend?
Our structure in KZN indicated to us that this rumor that is circulating around, that's how we got to know about it. But to be quite honest with you, that thing is just a hype that will collapse soon. These bogus individuals, you see, what is interesting about this whole thing, the so-called elected provincial secretary, Richard Klopp, when it suits him, he's general secretary of Sanco National, and we took them to court to stop abusing the name and logo of Sanco. Now, just before this thing, we saw an invite to all media houses, and it was written by him. In that communique, he was now a provincial secretary of Sanco in KwaZulu-Natal. That really confused us, but anyway, we expected it. Those ones, they are just power hungry. They have this insatiable desire for power. They don't want to be led. They just want to lead at all cost. That is why at national, they are not getting traction. That is why he then resorted to go back to the province and now calls himself a provincial secretary. By the way, when he went to our national conference in 2019, 19 January, he went there being suspended. He was provincial secretary of KwaZulu-Natal then, and he was suspended. He was undergoing disciplinary processes of the organizations as outlined in the constitution of Sanco. And he came there with bogus delegates, by the way. So, and then they did what they did and they left. Fortunately, we secured the conference, the security was tight, and it continued. It continued, and it elected the constitutional leadership of Sanco. Unfortunately, because they took a lot of time, we could not finish with the conference, and we had to then plenary resolved that what is left being not attended to then must then be deferred to the General Council, and the General Council then took place and we concluded business of conference. Thank you very much.
You stated that the former president was being taken advantage of. In the pictures and videos that went viral over the weekend, it appeared that the former president welcomed the development, was ready, I guess, to serve that structure. What are your thoughts on those sentiments after seeing those clips that emerged over the weekend?
You see, those were the sad moments, really, to observe. The old man is supposed to be home playing with his grandchildren, as people were saying. And when he accepted that thing, you remember he's having challenges politically, and these people knows of those challenges, and we feel strongly that indeed they are taking advantage of him. He's vulnerable. Anything that seek to support him, he will obviously accept. But on this one, we feel that he has erred. And unfortunately, even in our ranks, there are people that really believe in him, love him as the former stalwart, as a stalwart actually, of the struggle against apartheid. We respect him, and we hope and we want to believe. These people lied to this old man. They told the old man that there is no case in court. And yet they know that they were supposed to make a submission, and they did not do that. So maybe on the basis of that, the old man thought that our issues are resolved. That is why we're saying he was taken advantage of.
And just to clarify, the basis upon which you're saying that the structure is not real is because Sanco is still in court over this issue. To clarify, which are the structures that still exist within this community-based organization?
The only constitutional structure that is in existence is the one that is led by President Mpanza and Comrade Mike Sogo as General Secretary. These ones, we've taken them to court. They are just rebels, so that they stop abusing the name and the logo of Sanco. And we then believe that the court will be the final arbiter on this matter, and it will, because also another thing that the NEC wanted to do about taking this matter as directed by conference to court was to set a precedence in law, so that these things does not happen in future. That's where we are.
And there was lastly, there was a statement that was released yesterday. I'm not sure if it was authored by you, Mr. Soko, in which you state, or rather the organization, community-based organization states that Sanco is not a place or a dumping ground for quote-unquote ANC rejects. Was that authored by the national leadership, and are those your sentiments?
That was authored by our provincial leadership. And we want to confirm that that statement is our statement. Sanco is a unitary organization. What happens in provinces, they are doing everything in consultation with the national leadership. It is indeed our statement.
All right, thank you very much. That was the General Secretary of Sanco, Mr. Mike Soko, just speaking to us following the briefing here at the Protea Hotel in Midrand, sticking to their statement that this is a bogus parallel structure and that the matter is still being ventilated in court, and that as we speak, the former president is not according to them, the provincial KZN chairperson for the community-based organization. I'm going to toss it back to you in studio, Naledi.